Well, viewers, predictable Congress reaction. We could have written this yesterday. You could have written this tomorrow. You could have written this 6 months back, saying that at the end of the day, it's the Bihar voter against the election, damaging comment without any proof, to come forward, submit a signed affidavit, submitted before the Election Commission with their proof, so that action can be taken, so that even the Supreme Court can scrutinize. But the Congress hasn't done so. Yesterday, viewers, the Election Commission put out a press release. The first 3 points of that press release talked about how absolutely zero complaints had been received by the Election Commission after the SIR or much after that when the final voter lists were put out. Also, when polling finished, there was not a single complaint by any of the political parties, let alone the opposition, about any manipulation. In fact, there's not going to even be one recount in all of Bihar, a huge achievement given the fact that this time there were only 2 phases. And Bihar is known to be a bit turbulent sometimes on the ground. But despite that, viewers, not one incident of manipulation, malfeasance that could have led to a repoll or violence, nothing. And here you have the Congress party trying to stir passions by suggesting that the people's vote has been stolen by an intermediary that is supposed to be the guardian of the democratic process. Nalin Mehta, this is not good. Sorry to say, this is Trumpian. This is what led to the insurgency in DC. I'm sorry, this is not a great message.
If you challenge every result, then you undermine the legitimacy of the entire system itself and the democratic framework itself.
Which is what they're doing.
And I don't think this issue is getting any resonance on the ground at all in terms of voters. The point I want to make, Rahul, is that what are the 2-3 messages from this election? One is, politically, psychologically, the BJP has grown. Its vote share has increased by 2-3%. The JDU has retained its vote share, but it's played a much smarter political game, so it's gained disproportionately far more than it would have otherwise. The RJD has held its ground in its core areas. It's retained its vote share about 0.2% down compared to last time, and the same as the 2024 election. What it tells you is it's only retained, which is the Yadav vote to most of it, and the Muslim vote. It's got its policies wrong completely. Right. It's become a sectarian kind of party, if you like. So, and if you compare the 2 alliances, the NDA got, firstly, they did hard-nosed politics. They took correct measures administratively. Yeah. They got the right social matrix, and the opposition alliance, they didn't get the chemistry of the alliance right at all.
That's a very good point. Those questions will have to be asked. You wanted to make a point, ma'am.
Yeah. So going back to the reason why SIR became an issue for the opposition, we also have to, the question they ask is that why, why is states?
Well, the NDA is up at 180 now.
There's a change in electorate behavior as well.
Yeah.
Because I think 2024 Lok Sabha, I think there has been some kind of a spook in the electorate as well. I think that's why we see the numbers of people coming out to vote as well.
Okay, Mr. Shastri.
As you mentioned, the NDA is now moving to 181, and this typically happens as you come to the close of the election, where the one leading moves higher. You'll notice the RJD has been coming down also.
This is an absolute whitewash, really. This is, I hate using that term tsunami because it's sort of associated with destruction, but this is a wave unprecedented.
Undoubtedly, it's a wave caused by a Bihar double-engine NDA.
And more voters coming in, exercising a preference towards the NDA. This will appears as a massive shot in the arm.
Not just shot in the arm. I think there's a basic
Confidence.
issue with the Congress.
Yeah.
Power without proximity. They talk down to everybody. Early on, you would have the basics of, Janta Janardan hai, unke vote ko hum accept karte hain. Here, there is not even an acknowledgement that X number of crore people have exercised their mandate. That they've done well. They just come out with SIR. Well, it's like teaching the people what to do.
Let me tell our viewers, we have a bag of tricks that we are going to now unfold, which helps you visualize this data. And we're going to pull out some of our tools, and we're going to show you where this election has been won or lost, depending on which side of the fence you're on, or why these leads are now going to take on perhaps a more definitive characteristic. I don't want to get ahead of myself because that's not the style at CNN News 18, but I think it would require now a rabbit emerging from the hat to say that this election outcome is going to reverse, because the gap is just too much now, isn't it? The gap is too much, Rahul Verma, for things to change dramatically. Even in 2015, things were still sort of up in the air, margins were small, a large number of seats had not been called, but here it appears that the counting has taken place quickly, and there doesn't seem to be that sort of lag.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think trends are going to reverse. You might see 10% movement here and there in terms of seat share, but usually what we have known that once a party takes a big lead or an alliance takes a big lead, there is a bump towards the end in favor of them. And so what we are heading to is perhaps a 2010 kind of victory which BJP and JDU had together, or 2015 kind of a victory which Nistula was just pointing out when JDU was part of RJD. So it's a massive mandate and much more like
and that massive mandate is now reflecting. Let's just pull out those strike rates, big numbers. As I said, viewers, these are our bag of tricks, analytical tools that will help you understand this mandate a little better. 76% is the strike rate for the BJP. Almost similar, mirror image, the JDU, they're neck and neck within that alliance. Healthy competition, you can call it. The LJP, which we haven't projected, has also a great strike rate. Perhaps not as good as these two lead engines, but it has done its job of transferring a large number of votes into the BJP and the JDU, specifically the JDU. The JDU has doubled its numbers and more this particular election. So clearly, they got the chemistry right. The 27%, half of what it was in the last election in 2020. And that means that there has been a significant erosion of perhaps the other caste that had allied to it, or even the youth voter that many people believe would make Tejaswi the new face of the youth. Remember, in poll after poll, he was leading as the chief ministerial presence. Clearly, his own popularity, or what those polls suggested were his own popularity, has not knocked on to his party, which has big repercussions, not just for Bihar politics, but also for the RJD and the leadership and the Yadavs, the family at the top. The first family, Yadav family, big problem. And also the Congress, 18% strike rate out of the game. At halfway, 122. Let's look at these numbers. You can see the cart coming around, the Likki Choka cart coming around, and it's going to give you the numbers there. The NDA 181. There you can see it. The Likki Choka has been consumed today with great fanfare by the NDA, doing fantastically well at 181. Unprecedented. And let me now go back to our 180. I didn't see this coming. I don't think Amit Shah, in interview after interview, specifically to Rahul Joshi, the first one, made it very clear that he's expecting a 2/3. This is now in that territory.
Amit Shah in many interviews has said that he will not say lower than this, right?
This
As
is
a party
tough one, but
leader,
this is a tough election. I mean, Bihar is a notoriously tough state to gauge.
Oh, true. But how can Amit Shah just say, oh, we will only get one more seat than the half mark, right? Amit Shah always has to say that we are winning 2/3 or 3/4. So it's not that he alone could see it. I think once the exit poll came, there was always a possibility.
There was only one exit poll that went
No,
in this
I'm not-
territory.
see,
and that was a Chanakya
because
exit poll.
Exit pollsters.
And Chanakya read Chanakya.
I shouldn't say this, but most pollsters are not well trained to convert votes into seats properly.
Wow.
Especially if you don't weigh this kind of data with the gender differential turnout, then you could get any kind of number.
So previous elections in Bihar have been hyper-local. Many people have used this term. This time it doesn't seem to be.
You see, there was a narrative, at least in the English language section of the
Yes.
population,
Yeah.
which suggested that Bihar is a dysfunctional state, that Bihar is actually going to collapse, that Bihar is like the old thing about Bihar being a state of mind, etc. Now, what these results show, increased turnout, no violence, a pretty emphatic victory, and a pretty emphatic rejection. All of these show that there is that dysfunctionality is not in. That what we are seeing in Bihar is that Bihar is gradually becoming more and more a normal state of the Indian Union. And to my mind, that's a huge achievement.
Huge achievement, and responding once again.
Yes, it
beating
is
for the NDA.
responding, and I think that